I'm Brian Moran, founder of Government CIO. Welcome to Government CIO Magazine.
Hi, this is Olivia Aung with Government CIO Magazine. Today we'll be chatting with Department of Labor, Employment and Training Administration Chief Information Officer, Aung Htein.
As a component agency, we're playing the supportive role to the Departmental CIO in FTAR implementation. A little background or context before I really delve into this. ETA comprised of multiple program offices with different focus, such as foreign labor certification, unemployment insurance, Office of Job Corps, grants management, Office of Workforce Investment, and national apprenticeship programs, and so on. So we have different program offices with different specific missions. And some offices operate under a specific appropriation code. So it's quite important to ensure that all technology initiatives and acquisition at the agency and program offices level are highly aligned with DOL technology initiatives. This is so that we'll have a smooth trans-enterprise system integration and then interoperability, obviously. We are also streamlining the IT acquisition process under FTAR so that all technology procurement will funnel through one channel, and therefore we won't have any shadow IT footprint. What we're doing is that we're pretty much doing the same thing that's being done at the departmental CIO level, except that it's cascaded down to agency and program office level. Prior to infrastructure integration, ETA has a quintessential cookie-cutter type IT shop with data center, infrastructure operations. That includes help desk, network operation, and application development and web content management type shop. So majority of my time was spent on day-to-day operational type stuff. It's a lot of operational grind with heavy focus on commodity IT services. But now that infrastructure is being managed at the departmental level, our focus these days is more towards enterprise business systems that we have, and also effectiveness of IT in enabling our mission and business objectives. What I mean by that is that, so if we can go into, I can categorize into 3 or 4 broad categories. So under management and operational business systems, we have numerous enterprise level applications. These are mission critical systems that we are responsible for, and they range from grants management system that process $8 billion amount of grants, foreign labor certification system that process foreign laborers, and things of that nature. So that's one piece, and then the second piece that we're focusing on is the service brokering piece. So we have gotten ourselves out of the service provider business, so now we've become the service broker or intermediary. So we're all about making sure our users are getting what they need, and at the same time we keep our service broker in check, and we also have filled this a little gap that we have between service brokers and our users. So this is customization piece where that becomes our value added. The other one is the strategic business partner and technology oversight. So that's sort of a mouthful, but what I mean by that is that, you work closely with your business partner to understand their capability needs and identify the technology trends that will be most beneficial to them. So it's more of a business-focused technology consultancy of some sort. We were never able to do that before, just because our customers, program offices are going 100 miles per hour, and we have our own. We're just running 100 miles per hour, dealing with and maintaining our infrastructure type services. So now we we can focus more towards this type of strategic activities. So the answer is yes. We are currently working on modernizing our entire application portfolio. So I can answer it from a different standpoint. We can look at it from a process and technology standpoint. In that land, we've gone through application rationalization exercise to assess the state and risk and the technical viability of our application portfolio. We are also working on our target architecture along with the transition sequence. We are working on the transition sequence and the target architecture, but we do have a high-level concept of how the end state look like. So the transformation sequence will base on service areas. For example, we may start with the data analytics services. That particular area is ripe as far as the business readiness and the technology feasibility goes. So we've completed what they call master data management study, and the recommended approach was to set up a data lake platform in elastic and scalable compute environment. So we're looking at some of the open technologies like Hadoop on elastic computing platforms. Area we're looking at things like Amazon Web Services. Hadoop in particular is a compelling technology stack because of its inherent capability to store large volumes of data and files in many different forms and to add on demand processing whenever we need to. Hadoop stack paired with the elastic computing environment really meets our business objective, meaning seasonal data submissions and reporting spikes that ETA business units encounter at the end of every quarter. The other area that I can talk about is our business process management service area. So our BPM platform is well underway using APN BPM on, again, AWS platform. Once we finish that BPM platform, we can effectively displace 30% of our legacy system, and that's a good chunk of cost saving for us. We're also looking at other solutions for remaining service. Just off the top of my head, it'll be Drupal. We're looking at Drupal content management system on cloud for our multiple websites that we have. Because our modernization effort takes most of our assets to cloud, we are looking at the cloud governance framework, which in my opinion may be the most critical piece of all. It's so critical that we have one full-time senior level federal staff dedicated to work on this fully and exclusively in the past 3 months. Nothing but this, the cloud governance framework. And it is important because the traditional technology governance framework doesn't fit well in cloud service delivery model. Lifecycle management of cloud apps can become very unruly, and so our cloud governance, we hope that it will address some of these concerns that we have. So this framework will cover things like security and auditing, proliferation and sprawl, making sure the integration and interoperability with current on-premise systems that we have. And another big thing is portability. Make sure there's no vendor lock-ins, and there should be a process for application provisioning, and monitoring, auditing whenever we need to, service level or SLA management, and also quality of service management, how to set up meaningful and enforceable service levels and things of that nature. Again, things like security, change and configuration management are handled very differently in the cloud. Let's just pick security as an example. We need to know who decides on applying security patches on which virtual machine. What happened when there's a security incident involved? Who does what during the incident response process? And things of that nature. As far as people and organizational aspects goes, we are working hard to attract and retain top talent that meets today's IT challenges. And we're also continuously defining roles and responsibility of IT that accurately reflects the reality of technology today, and that's really hard to do. In my shop, you will no longer see positions like system administrators, network engineer, help desk technicians. We now have roles and positions such as enterprise solution architect, application integration specialist, full stack developers. They are really important and hard to find. Data scientists for big data and data analytics type platforms. User interface and user experience specialists. I don't have that on federal staff yet, but hopefully soon I will. Service manager for financial services. That means metering and monitoring and billing in the cloud environment and so on. We're also doing a lot of training. We take training very seriously, even though we have a very, very finite amount of training resources. Within the last year or so, we've trained more than 20% of our federal staff in Agile project management, ITIL, AWS Certified Solution Architectures trainings. So we are getting our workforce ready so that they have skill sets and mindsets that they need to do their job better. We're also working on getting Drupal CMS training for our federal staff and web group. All the transformation initiatives or projects that I mentioned earlier consider our priorities for FY16 and 17 with a few additions that I can cover. One being the mobility piece. Mobility is a big deal in DOL and everywhere else. So at the infrastructure and connectivity level, given that the department is responsible for infrastructure management, we'll do whatever we need to support departmental IT in making sure our frontline employees have tools they need to do their job, because that's the least we can do really. We did have a few things that we've done so far, so a lot of deploy some of the mobile devices, non-BlackBerry mobile devices like iPhone, and all our mobile devices are now on department's mobile device management system. We also want to make sure our users have access to ETA business systems to do their job at frontline. So that's within the mobility realm. As far as the application modernization goes, we will make sure these data analytic platforms that we build are for non-IT program colleagues, and they can go in anytime and they can slice and dice, cross-pollinate data and turn these raw data into meaningful information so that they can make informed decisions on the fly. And that will be very helpful because that's being done at the manual level these days as of today, and it's time consuming and costly. The other thing is that everything that we build is going to be device or screen site agnostic, will be secure and reliable and easily accessible. So that's part of our application configuration or development standard. So that should help our users, our field users, in particular frontline users, in doing their job better. We're also taking digital government initiatives very seriously. So we're trying to set up a digital services team. We'll make sure all our pages, websites, and web presence is based on user-centered design. So the concept of bimodal IT was introduced because most IT organizations were finding it overly challenging to modernize legacy IT. With the consumerization of IT these days, all of us IT folks are getting pressures from stakeholders to innovate. And the failure of many IT departments to innovate, coupled with strong business interest in innovation, creates a good opportunity for bimodal IT. And that's how bimodal IT was born, I guess. The primary focus of enterprise IT is mission related. So the priority is continuity of operation, predictability, everything is resilient. So those type of trades takes precedence over agility and modernization and innovation. Of course, there's a need to keep pushing the envelope, but for enterprise IT, it's much harder. So a lot of the organizations are going out and building their own bimodal IT. Bimodal IT is a fundamental tectonic shift, and it will be around for a good amount of time, probably more prevalent in private sector IT than federal sector. But keep in mind, the modernization today is legacy tomorrow. So legacy participation is critical for any transformation project. Cool technologies or microservices that bimodal IT builds will eventually touch or connect the authoritative systems. So the questions becomes, what is the API standard? What is the message-oriented middleware that you need? So the point here is that you can never modernize without legacy's involvement. So bimodal IT will be around, but it will take a little bit longer for federal agencies to adopt bimodal IT. We know that what you do is important. It could be the grants processing, unemployment, processing of the unemployment payment, training underprivileged youth, or training your senior citizens, or helping veterans with their unemployment, or processing foreign labor certifications. Everything you do is important, and it affects lives. We know that IT is an auxiliary or support function, and we feel your pain. At the very least, that we can do is to equip you with technology tools needed to do your job more efficient and effectively. And you have our promise that we will continue to try our best to get there.